All right, welcome back. We're here with Lisa Ray. This is episode of Calm Dan, Nervana Health podcast. We're talking about movement today. Lisa, you've been training with me and with our group for quite a while. Can you just give us a little bit of background first of kind of your background in like movement practices and kind of why overall you like to use your body?
Well, I was never in sports necessarily as a kid, but I wanted to be fit. I would see images when I was younger. The image I remember seeing Madonna at the time, like she was muscular, and that when it wasn't cool for women to be muscular.
Yeah.
And I thought that's someone strong. That's what I want to be like. And so I would just start working out on my own, with my little weights at home. And eventually I would do things like I got into cycling, I did the MS 150, I've done a couple races, did a couple marathons, was never very serious about it, but no, not serious in that, nothing professional or anything like that.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
but I was
couple
always,
marathons sounds a little serious.
but I just liked being active. I really enjoyed the energy it gave me. And then even when I was pregnant with my son at the time, I was running like 10-mile runs up until like I was 30 weeks pregnant or something, until it just became uncomfortable. But then after I had Seth, I just became a lot less active. I mean, I guess it's a classic story. And as he got older, I decided to, I had more time to try to be more active again. And something about, when I found Tub Club, I was doing ice baths already, for a number of years because I found it helpful with my depression.
Okay.
I heard about it on a podcast. I knew that was for me, like instantly, like 11 years ago. And I've been doing ice baths ever since, occasionally. And when I found Tub Club, I was like, oh, there's a bunch of other crazy people like me. So I got to go join this. And then I started taking your class because you taught a yoga class. And when I took the class, I realized, oh, this isn't a typical yoga class. Like I'm not trying to do these specific yoga poses. This is about using my body. And I just really enjoyed that. And as I'm getting older, I really like the idea of working out for longevity as opposed to looking a certain way. After having Seth, my body not going back to the way it was, coming to terms with the fact that it was never going to look the same as that, and realizing that's not the only reason to work out. That, I like this movement thing. And I just feel like when I'm taking your class, you just have so much knowledge about the body and how it should move. And as opposed to just trying to move a lot of heavy weights, trying to just have my body be functional is really helpful. I feel like anytime I'm talking to somebody and they're having some ailment, I want to tell them, you got to go see Tyler. You got to go do some movement workouts.
And I'm like, honestly, I know many other movement instructors. I know like mobility specialists. I know physios. And so like self-critically, I know that I'm like at the low end of like anatomy knowledge, of like understanding how to use our bodies in ways that creates lasting benefits. And yet, even just a little bit, even where I'm at, I've seen results. I've seen people like really make real shifts. And so I love it. Like I have this real deep love. And also I come from like many surgeries, many setbacks, many periods of times of real disability, being on crutches for long periods of times. So I resonate, even at a younger age than I am now, I resonate deeply with you saying, that you want to essentially exercise for the longevity quest rather than just aesthetics. And it's like, hey, you'll look good, like you will look better, period, just from using your body more and more.
It's just a side effect.
Yeah, it's just a really wonderful side effect. And not even that you need to be like some super like jacked, perfect six-pack, whatever. That doesn't matter. It's being able to pick things up and not be in pain.
Right, being able to function.
Yeah, being able to do the things that you love more often without feeling like so limited.
Right, right.
Because that really stinks. So yeah, you've been with us with our community for a couple years now.
3.5 years, I want to say.
Yeah. Since like starting to take some of my classes or, participating in some of our like kind of different yoga or strength and conditioning classes, how would you say that you have, like what has shifted for you? Like how were you before and now? How do you see yourself after? What internal shifts have happened and how you approach fitness as a result?
The mobility, since introducing that, into my life, I can just do that anywhere. I'll just find myself now throughout the day. I mean, it took a while. It took taking classes from you guys for at least a year, maybe, a year and a half or so, where I would just find myself wanting to move my body around and just doing that. And little things start cracking and moving around, and it just feels more natural. It feels, and I feel like it's less of a structured workout. I still try to do structured workouts, but I can just do those things anywhere, standing in line somewhere. I'll do some little ankle movements or shoulder movements or whatever. So just bringing it into, as opposed to a separate task that I want to do certain times of the week, it's also just integrated throughout any part of my day.
Yeah.
And it's been helpful.
I love that. I used to feel, I don't know if you're in that same bucket, but I used to feel kind of weird, like being out and about, you're standing in like a line at a grocery store,
and
like rotating my wrists or my neck.
Yeah. I'm used to feeling weird now, so I'm
yeah.
okay.
Well, and so here's the reframe to that I at least am using. Right now, unfortunately, normal in society is sick.
Yes.
And that really stinks in a variety of reasons, but normal is kind of sick and sedentary. And so it's like, be weird.
Yes.
Don't be normal.
Right.
And I'm not saying like, go hit your super ecstatic dance moves like in the middle of the Aldi aisle.
But that's okay too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really feeling
I'm not judging.
But, it's okay to move your body
Yes.
when everyone else is kind of being very still.
Yes.
And yeah, the mobility, and you can just do it everywhere, and just reap that benefit. Okay, so how would you say that, like, embracing mobility training and other services from us has impacted, like, your regular life, your daily life, your in the kitchen hot sauce making, or your at-home activities?
Well, I do multiple hot sauce events throughout the month now where I'm lugging, a tent, tables, many pounds of hot sauce. I don't even know how much the container of hot sauce is that I carry when it's 6 cases of it, but I can move that stuff on my own. I do that. I do the whole setup and takedown. When other people are complaining about it, I'm embracing it. I'm saying, well, this is my workout. I don't know. I'm 50 years old now, and I'm proud of that. And I'm proud of the fact that that I can do things that maybe in today's society I shouldn't be able to do, like carrying heavy things around. So this was a funny story I wanted to tell you the other day about. We have a bathroom remodeling business, and a few years ago, I used to be Frank's helper, and I would help him. He has so much faith in my strength, like to a fault, or he just doesn't care. He's like, "We gotta move this thing."
Love that, Frank.
And we were carrying a vanity, to go upstairs to someone's bathroom, and the homeowner, the guy, thought it was the nice thing to do to offer to help Frank, which was very nice. He just really underestimated how heavy that vanity was, because he thought, oh, if Lisa's carrying it, he wasn't moving much after that. So I've always embraced, what's the word I'm looking for? I've always embraced not meeting expectations, I really like when people do things that you don't expect, that are not stereotypical. I love breaking the stereotype. And so I love it when somebody thinks that I'm weak. And I mean, not necessarily in a bad way. It's just, hey, I'm a woman. I'm old. Like, what can I do? And
like, actually,
I can. Yeah.
You ever see that guy put the fridge on his shoulders, get on his bike, and ride down the road? Like, that's me.
So, and fortunately, I have an unrealistic husband that just thinks that, I can haul anything.
Yeah.
But so I forget what your original question was, but
Yeah, just how like mobility training has impacted your daily life. But
Yeah, and I just feel like, I need to be this way. I need to take care of myself. So as I'm getting older and there's people around me who need help, because a lot of people aren't taking care of themselves. So somebody has to. So, I can be there to do stuff, whatever that stuff is, as my parents are aging. Yeah, just it gives me confidence that there's no reason I can't keep moving like this. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. That's that mindset right there. That sounds really powerful. That like that you can keep going a little bit upwards rather than I feel like just so often I hear even people my age or younger just talking about how bad they feel, the slow degradation, and like I'm probably guilty of this too. I wake up sometimes and I'm sore, right? But, yeah, I love to hear that. Like I hear that hope behind
And
your
it
words
doesn't
right
take
now.
much. I feel like it doesn't take, because I'll watch people on Instagram that are really fit and they do all these intense workouts every day. I'll go weeks without doing a workout, but then it will come back. It just takes a little bit of intention and just moving. I think a lot of times people will get hung up on what exactly should I do?
Yes.
What equipment do I need? What type of watch do I need to track this? And it just holds them up. And really all they need to do is choose right now to move.
Yeah, do anything.
Right. And
Anything is so much better than nothing. It doesn't have to be the perfect thing.
Right. And being around people that have that mindset makes a difference. Because when I'm around people who aren't like that, hopefully I can rub off on them. But then I need to recharge by being around, Nervana, Tub Club people to get that reminder that, we need to be just playing, just having fun.
Oh my God, I love the synergies of the universe. I was thinking about this so much last night because we're talking about play today, and I was like, what creates playfulness? And I'm realizing it's a contagion. If I'm left by myself, and I can be playful by myself, but if I'm just like doom scrolling, I could go so long in a day or longer than days and not feel like that raw, playful energy. But as soon as I'm around someone else who is bringing that, who is contagious, and Mitch is like a perfect example of this because he just he just radiates it. But it's like all of a sudden you just feel it. You come to Tub Club, you're hanging around people, you're with a good friend of yours, and it's just like it's easy going. It creates this air of lightness, and that then for me amplifies why I love to move my body, because I want to be able to be playful, not in pain. I want to be able to express myself physically, whether it be with my kids, whether it be maybe grandkids in the future,
And it's a little bit challenging that when I see other people, I brought my mom and my sister to train with you, and when I see people that are struggling, I just so much want them to bring a little bit of this into their life, but you can't force anybody to do anything. But you can be the example. I was really, when I was a Monday, I believe, at around 7 a.m, my son goes to school. He drives himself to school, and it just crossed my mind that I was being a very good parent at that moment. Without trying, I was outside jumping rope as he was leaving for school.
Yeah.
And that wasn't why I was doing it.
Yeah.
It's just he knows this is what mom does. Mom's crazy. She likes to be crazy, but she's doing things she's jumping rope.
Yeah, you're creating a norm.
Yes.
Rather than mom stressing on her phone in the position,
Right. And I was just, this is what I do. And I go, get ice baths with friends. It's just, I feel like, I can't convince other people to do things, but I can show it, I can display it, I can be it, and hopefully it catches on. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess just one more question. If you didn't know us, or if you knew someone who was kind of on our periphery, and thinking about exploring our services, especially like what we're bringing to the table with like movement classes, what would you tell them? What would you tell someone who is on the fence about it?
Well, there's nothing wrong with just showing up with no intention of participating. There's nothing, just come and hang out. Don't even bring your suit. Don't even plan to get an ice bath necessarily. Just come and feel the energy. One thing I used to tell my son was try to do something difficult each day. And it's a challenge to go to new places. But if that's just do that one thing. Just come to a class sometime. And yeah, just make it, that first step is just to show up. Why? How I would convince them? I don't know. I try.
Yeah.
Try with all I don't know.
What would you tell someone who is really thinking about like taking a mobility class?
Oh, well, I would tell them that it's appropriate for all levels of movement. Even if you have trouble getting out of a chair, there's mobility workouts you can do. There's movement you can do that somebody who knows what they're talking about can show you. And if you are in excellent shape and you're doing intense bodybuilding or something, there's also things that you can benefit from. Everybody can benefit from mobility. And I think that's one thing that scares people, is if they feel like they're not in shape, they're not able to move enough to take a mobility class.
Yeah.
Or they don't know what it is. But it's just simple, and it's just learning how to move easier or more appropriately. Yeah,
to build like health at your joints. It's not just
Okay.
about your muscles being strong. It's how are your tendons feeling? Like what's your regular pain feel like? Everyone's got little aches and pains around their body. And yeah, from the frailest level to the most extreme athletes, like we can all benefit from just getting more blood flow, more energy flow into the places that need it through our bodies more often. And that's how, in my mind, we stay young for as long as possible. And it's like, yeah, we're going to get old, we're going to die, that's okay, but we can do so with grace. We can be quite old, actually, and still be able to get into our deep squats. We can get up and down off the floor easily,
And I think a lot of people, as they get older, avoid things that hurt them. And that just makes it worse.
Yeah.
I was talking with Tom Pollard, actually.
Yeah.
His doctor was talking about a lot of the snowbirds that he sees. A lot of people who are older, and they go to Florida for the winter and then come back. And when they're living in Florida, they're living on flat surfaces everywhere. They have one-story homes. There's no hills in Florida. And when they come back, they are substantially in worse condition health-wise.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's easier for them, and they feel like, this is better for me. But in the long term, it's not better, because they're not challenging themselves. They're not keeping their muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, they've shifted their environmental obstacles, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
So I like to hear that stuff. I like to hear that, and it helps keep me motivated, because sometimes I don't want to do any of this either.
Oh my gosh. Motivation's funny in that way. And then you just and then you do something,
And then you're like, oh,
and you're like, why was I ever feeling that way?
Right.
You immediately get the motivation after doing the thing.
Yes.
Not before.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks for chatting, Lisa. We should do this again sometime.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots we could pull out of you. So. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.